Have you been thinking about writing a book for the longest? Are you still holding all the words to your book inside of your head? As my uncle would say, I hate to break the bad news to you, but if you keep holding that book inside of your head, it's never going to be read by anyone in the world. And that will be a total bummer. And of course, I'm not here to badger you. I'm here to encourage you and help make your book writing process simple. Today, I want to share with you 11 tools I use to help me write and publish a book in less than a year. I pray this blesses you. Let's go. Hey sis, ready to write your first book and make an impact? Do you wish you could organize your book ideas without feeling overwhelmed and actually find the time to write and finish your book? Hey, I'm Donna Cherie, a book writing coach and author. Welcome to Called for Business. Inside this podcast, I'll teach you how to get a clear vision for your book idea, get organized, keep it simple, and develop a writing plan so you can finally get your book out into the world. Grab a notebook and pen with your favorite cup of tea. Let's dive into today's episode. Hey sis, what's up? I hope that you are having an incredible week and that you are not feeling stressed out or overwhelmed for the holidays, because at the time of this recording, it is 1 week before Christmas. And I hope that you are just being peaceful right now. And I hope that you have your cup of tea or your favorite drink that you like, a pen and a notebook, because we are going to be getting into a great topic today. I am your host, Donna Cherie, and this is where we talk about book writing and making sure that book writing is simple. What if I told you that the book you've been holding inside for years could finally come to life? I've been in your shoes, stuck, unsure, and letting fear hold me back. I once was there where you might be at right now of having this strong desire to write your book. I know I wanted to write a book for over a decade, and I was heavily concerned with the what ifs, my inner critic, time, fear, and everything else in between that attempts to keep us from reaching our dreams and goals, and also our God-given destiny. But when I finally took action to write a book, I ended up holding my book in my hands and still holding it in my hands today, as well as other people being able to hold it into theirs. And it's such a great feeling. And sis, I want the same for you. I really do. And that is why I'm here. Ever since I've published my first book, many people have reached out to me asking me, Donna, how did you do it? How did you write your first book and actually get it out there? And they were asking me questions about how to write and how to finish their books. So I discovered, these are tools that are out there, but these are the tools that I use that really helped me write and publish my first book in less than a year. And today I'm sharing those tools with you so you can stop waiting, sis, and start writing. And let's finally make your dream a reality. All right, so the first tool that I personally use to write my book is I use Microsoft Word. And I want to tell you, like, these tools, I'm not going to say that they're like hidden tools or anything like that, but these really, because I believe in simplicity. If you've been following me for a while, you know I'm all about practicality and simplicity. So you may be familiar with some of these tools and you may not be, but I hope that all of these tools will be beneficial to you in some way, or that you can, utilize some or whatever it is. All right, so number one is Microsoft Word. This is where I stored and wrote my full manuscript. I use Microsoft Word. And I know that some people may not have Microsoft Word, and I will provide another option or another tool that is available to you. So I use Microsoft Word, and in there I wrote my full manuscript. And this is where I also had my outline available, because I had my outline as a top, and utilized Microsoft Word to just keep this, and it was a regular place for me to write, and it was also easy. I was already familiar with Microsoft Word to be able to format my chapters and format my sentences. I was very familiar with the program, so I didn't have a learning curve with Microsoft Word. It's something I grew up on and that we've used in school, and I've used it throughout college. So this is really where I stored everything pertaining to my manuscript. The second tool is Google Docs. So although I use Microsoft Word, I also utilize Google Docs. And this is what you can use if you don't have access to Microsoft Word. Google Docs is in the cloud. So if you have a Gmail account, you can access Google Docs to be able to store your full manuscript and have it there available. They also have like version history on there. It also has where you can see how many words that you have in your document. That's something that is also a feature that's available in Microsoft Word, to be able to see what your word count is. So if you have a manuscript and you're thinking about a certain amount of words, you can see it there in Microsoft Word or Google Docs. But let's just talk about Google Docs a little bit. The cool thing about Google Docs is if something ever happens to your computer, if you don't have access to a computer or anything like that, or if you use like a tablet, you can access Google Docs. Your document will always be there, and it'll be available to you regardless of where you go. If you go to the coffee shop, or if you travel to another state, you have your Google Docs, rather than like Microsoft Word, in which Microsoft Word is typically on a hard drive and you have to have something to actually save your work. So whether that's on your computer or a flash drive or some other external hard drive to be able to use. So just want to provide that option as well. And how I use my Google Docs, so I also used it to like back up my document, even though I use Microsoft Word. And then I also have what we call a tandem document. So a tandem document is a document in which you can have to like jot down your thoughts, or say if you're writing your manuscript and then other ideas come to your mind, whether that's book ideas or if you feel like you're going down a rabbit hole. It's another place to be able to write down those thoughts and not lose them, a place where you can come back to it. And you don't have to be committed to putting that information in your book, but you still capture what's on your mind and you're able to jot down your thoughts. So that's how I use Google Docs, as a backup and also a tandem document. The third tool that I use is an outline. I'm always talking about an outline. If you've been in my workshop or if you've heard me speak somewhere when it pertains to book writing, I talk about the outline. I don't want to say that the outline is the first step to writing your manuscript, because before that, in my opinion, you have to plan out your book. What is your book going to be about? And then the outline is your format of what you plan to write about in your book. But it is very important and imperative that you have an outline. It's the guide that will help you along your writing process. And if there's a time to when you feel like you're off course, reviewing your outline will definitely help you to get back on track. It helps you to develop your topics, to develop your chapters, and to know what it is that you want to write about. So for me, I wanted to write a memoir, and my outline was there as a guide to help me pinpoint things in my life that I wanted to mention throughout this book. And also, in a previous episode, I believe it's episode 66 last week, I talked about how you can transform your story into a book. So be sure to check out that episode if you're looking for a simple framework to help you formulate your memoir and to be able to flesh it out. I believe that'll really help you. And and I want to say this too about an outline. So outline doesn't have to be in the format that we learned like in English class when we grew up. You can definitely make it your own, but it's there for your preference. It's there to be a bullseye to you and to keep you on track. So you don't have to use like Roman numerical numbers or anything like that. So you can also just have like your chapter titles. That's what I did. I used chapter titles as my outline headings, and that still helped me to formulate an outline. So I hope that's helpful. Number 4 is a literary coach. So again, these are the tools that I use. So I'm not saying that you have to use this, but a literary coach can definitely be helpful and a game changer when you're writing a book. And if you have the money and or the time to invest in a literary coach or a book writing coach, such as myself, you should do so. And this person is someone who is going to be familiar with the book writing process. And of course, you can write about anything you want when it comes to a book. But if you want to have a good, solid, quality book, your format, your tone, the flow, and the organization, all of those things are important. And when a literary coach or a book writing coach is looking over that, they're going to know and understand what it is you're writing about, how you write, what your tone is, and really also help to be an additional guide to your outline to help keep you on track. Is typically someone who understands since I'm in America, I have to say the English language, but whatever your native language is that you're writing in, they can help you with that and help you with grammar and really help you stay on course and avoid those rabbit holes. For example, my literary coach, she had a degree in English, and she had helped numerous writers before with their manuscript and with essays. So like she was very well versed in writing. And I, as myself, even though I don't have like an English major, I do believe that I'm someone who values quality writing and knows how to write. I really believe it's a gift from God and something that I truly enjoy. But a literary coach can definitely help you give you valuable feedback and let you know if you're going on a tangent or if you're missing certain parts from your writing and how to rework things or how to put things together in your manuscript. And I worked with a literary coach for 6 months for about I think it was like once a month, if I can remember, because it was quite some time ago. But and yeah, we had monthly check-ins, and in between our sessions, she was helpful and helped me to update my manuscript, and also that piece of accountability, having that accountability to keep going. And she was someone who could check in with me regularly and help motivate me throughout the writing process, because writing a book can be a vulnerable process, and it can seem like a very daunting task, but having someone there to support you and push you through, rough days when you want to maybe not write, just having an accountability partner can really help and push you in the right direction and help you finish your book. The next tool, number 5, is a voice recorder. I don't know many people who still use them, but I do. I use one on my phone. And I know another lady that she loves just having voice recorders, but this is a great tool to help when those ideas come to your mind, those thoughts or memories or revelations that come up, and you don't have your computer in front of you. You don't have your pen and your computer in front of you. You don't have a notebook or anything like that. And if these thoughts are like coming really fast, you can use a voice recorder on your phone to be able to capture those thoughts and then go back and put it in your manuscript. And if you don't already have one on your phone, there are different voice recorder apps available on either Apple or Android phone. And I'm sure you can download one on a computer as well if it's not on your computer. And just sometimes the thoughts, just flood your mind so fast, and it's very easy to use a voice recorder, and you can go back to it and listen to later. And there's also something to where you can get it transcribed for like a small fee. You can do that, or you can just, listen to it and then transcribe it yourself if you'd like. But definitely a highly recommended tool, because you never know when you're going to get that dose of inspiration. You never know when something is going to just come up as you're writing your book, and you definitely want to be able to capture it if you don't have a notebook and pen in front of you or your computer. The next tool that is vital, so vital, as you are writing a book is prayer. Prayer is a critical component of the writing process. I hope that prayer is something that you are doing daily. And during your writing process, you definitely want to make sure that you're spending time in prayer. I'm not gonna put a time limit on the time that you should pray, but I do believe that if you want to write a book, pray. If you want to write a good book, a kingdom impactful book, pray. If you want to write a book to glorify God, honor God, pray. If you want to write a book to make sense and just truly impact others, pray. Like, you really should be praying while you're writing your book. This is something that I did all throughout my writing process, and I know that it really helped me to stay in the writing flow. It helped me to commune with God. It helped me to listen to his voice, to be able to put certain things in a book, to be able to title my chapters, to be able to put quotes or my own sayings in the book. It's so vital to your writing process. And also to be able to pray over your outline, to be able to pray before you even get started, to pray over the words that you type on your computer. And even once you get your proof back from Amazon or wherever you decide to publish, to be able to look over your proof, and pray and to be able to have those eyes of discernment to see, what's in your book, and to make sure that everything that you wanted to have in that book, or that God wants to be in that book, is in that book when you get your book proved. So I know that was so essential and so critical for me. And I know that it will be for your book as well. Also, I want to hit on this too, as we're just talking about like using this tool of prayer, is that if you're writing a memoir, and a memoir that is about your life, or, something that was very, what's the word I'm looking for? Something that was very like hard for you to go through, but you want to share this with the world, or, with your reader, that you want to make sure that you're writing from a place of healing and not out of a place of pity or condemnation or a place of guilt or, a victim mindset, but that it really is a place of triumph, a place of healing, and a place that will inspire your reader. So that's why it's so important to pray. And I could probably harp on this for like the rest of our time, but I won't. And it also will just help you to check the tone of your voice. Also, it empowered me on my days when my next page was blank, like when I felt like I didn't know what to write next or what sentence to write next. Praying really helped me, again, stay in that writing flow as I was going through this writing process. So I'll leave it at that for prayer. The next tool, number 7, is fasting. And this also goes hand in hand with prayer. When I was writing my book, I fasted before I got started. Even before I really digged into my outline, even before I submitted my outline to my literary coach, I began fasting and really praying, like, what should this book be about? Who is this book for? And if you know anything about fasting, the Bible says that, some things don't come out except through fasting and praying. And I believe, of course, in that context, it was talking about demonic spirits, but fasting can also be helpful in our own breakthroughs. And even as we write, getting those writing breakthroughs can really help us and equip us. The 8th tool is a writing schedule. You have to keep a writing schedule. This is a must. And without it, you're bound to incompleteness. You're bound to not finish your book. if you don't have a writing schedule, if you don't have it on your calendar, if you don't stick to it and don't really carve out that time to write, like you can forget about it. So definitely a huge tool that you should use while you're writing a book. Number 9 is having someone who can review your book and or edit it. So like after you finish your book, who's going to be your editor, or who can review your book for you? Who can review your intro for you? Just a few chapters of your book to just give you some quality feedback. Number 10 is a publisher. Who is going to be your publisher? Like that has to be a tool. So is Amazon going to be a publisher? Are you going to be a self-publisher like me? Or are you going to go out and get a Christian publisher or a publisher that you off of Fiverr or Upwork or somebody else that you might be familiar with? And just having that lined up is definitely a game changer as well. And I want to encourage you that you don't have to go out here and spend tens of thousands of dollars to find a publisher. You can find a quality publisher, a God-sent publisher that can help you publish your book if you don't want to do it yourself. And then the last tool is that I use to help me write and publish my first book. Number 11 is Amazon KDP. I knew that I wanted to go through Amazon to self-publish, and through there I was able to set up a free account, a free KDP account, put my account information in there, follow the steps that I needed to do to self-publish, and boom, I clicked that button and it was all she wrote. It was on and popping. So again, just to recap real quick, the 11 tools that I used to write and publish my first book in less than a year was Microsoft Word, utilizing Google Docs, an outline, having a literary coach as my accountability partner, a voice recorder for days when I was not, or times when I was not near my computer. Prayer, definitely incorporated that. Number 7, fasting. 8, a writing schedule, a reviewer or editor. And number 10, a publisher. And then number 11, utilizing Amazon KDP to publish my book. So I really hope that these tips have helped you today to think about which ones you'd like to incorporate as you go through your book writing process to write and finish your book so that you can get it out there published to the world in Jesus' name. So I really hope that this episode has blessed you. And let me know which tools you're going to use. You can email me at contact@donnacherie.com. I would love to hear from you. And sis, be sure to stay subscribed to the show. If you haven't subscribed already, be sure to do so. Continue to stay tuned in. I'm going to continue to drop great gems and resources to be able to help you finally finish your book. All right. Until next time. Ciao. Thanks for tuning in. I hope today's episode inspired you to take that next step to write your book. Remember, small steps lead to big results. If this podcast has blessed you in some way, be sure to leave a written review on Apple Podcasts. Your support means the world to me, and it helps others to find the show. Also, be sure to pass on the inspiration by sharing this episode with a friend who could benefit from this message. God bless you, sis, and never, ever give up.